All right, here we go. Round two of Action Impacts. I'm really excited about this one. For me personally, it's definitely something that I've been working on. The topic of the discussion is change. Um, Turns out change is the only thing that we're promised in life, and I think 2020 proved that to a lot of people. Um, when I look at 2 years ago, change, I wasn't sure what people were willing to change in their life. I've spent about 2 years inflicting change on people in a positive way, and whether that be their mentality or their paycheck or saving them money on their cell phone bill, that those are all things that I was able to change over the last 2 years as far as in my work life, and I'm very thankful for that because um, it changed me more than it changed anyone I came into contact with in a good way, and I'm excited about that. So, when I look at change and um, the willingness to change, and then you also, have a lot of people that really think that, oh, someone really can't change, right? If they've, maybe done something bad in their life or um, have a bad habit or maybe something that's torn you apart from your loved ones, um, that you'll always come back to it. Now, I don't have tons of experience in that aspect, but I do know there's some things that I struggle with on a regular basis when it comes to being addicted to it. One of us is the same thing I was providing to others, which was a cell phone. Um, the way I look at a cell phone now is completely different than when I first got one when I was 16, obviously. And I think we're all that way. But one thing that I could narrow it down to is a phone, it can do one of two things for you. It can be a tool to help you better your life and, get you around town. Obviously, people use their GPS, or it can be something that can consume your life where you'll forget to look at the windows and enjoy your adventure because you're too busy stuck to your phone. Um, Unfortunately, I've been a part of the second one a lot, to where I wasn't necessarily where my feet were. I was always thinking about, what's next or what maybe was in the palm of my hand versus where I'm at, who I'm with, what I'm doing, and why. Um, so change for me is definitely something that I'm experiencing now and have been for a little while. So I wanted to share that. Um, and I came up with a quote. Uh, when you say and what you do line up enough, you are a changed person. And when I look at that, let me read it one more time because that was terrible. When you say and do line up enough, you are a changed person. Maybe not proper English, but when I look at that, um, if you're gonna say something, do it. Um, that's the definition of integrity, and it really sucks when you divert from that. You know, for me, I'm a very dream oriented person, and I always like to speak outside of the box and like kind of go that extra step. Like, what if I was a roller coaster tester for a living? Like, how long could I keep that kind of gig up? Right? Those kind of things sound so outlandish, and then when you don't back up what you say and when you don't pursue something, at what point are your what you're saying valid? Like at what point does that add up to anything? It's just like there's no telling what he's going to say next, but he's not going to back it up, so don't even worry about it. Um, so when you say and when you do, when they line up enough, I believe you're a changed person. Um, and where does that willpower come from? Really, that's the next question: is I know I need to make a change in my life, but it'll be fine. I'll get to it later. Well, I'm kind of going through some other stuff right now, so I'll just make that change later on in life, and that's definitely what's happened to me. And when it comes to procrastination, that has definitely been the key here. I mean, just look at my environment. Clearly, that's something I got to work on, right? When it comes to the willpower to change, I think it's important that we preempt the outside change. A lot of times we wait on something to change around us or us to be thrown into a situation in order to change our behavior. And I think that's what leads me to running these podcast videos or whatever you want to call them. Oh, wait, action impacts. Yeah. Um, I think the change also comes from love because when you love something, it could be positive or negative. That thing could be really rough, or that the thing you love could be the best part of your life. Um, and what inflicts change in my life is if the pros and the cons do not line up. Um, Obviously, if there's more cons than pros, those are the things I want to change. But my biggest problem, and maybe someone can relate to this, but when I see more cons than pros, I'm just trying to fix the cons. Hey, let's go, right? Let's we'll compartmentalize this and just move it over to the other side. Or, maybe after a couple weeks it won't be such a thing that I don't like. Maybe it'll change, or I can inflict change on it. And probably shouldn't take that outlook to everything I do. Um, so yeah, when it comes to change, um, I think the biggest thing that helps that is love. Um, if I'm going to try and get someone else to, maybe change their behavior for the better, um, it starts with love. And I love everyone who's going to get a chance to see this. Um, and that's what's going to start this change, is us really taking the mask off, no pun intended, and really just talking about how we feel. Um, so with that being said, I have to share this with you. Uh, Something that I'm definitely making a change in my life with, that hasn't been a very positive thing for me, but I've really enjoyed it, and that's been a problem for sure. But what I mean by that is vape, right? So you know what these are. You see them all the time. They're literally at the gas station. You can't go anywhere without them now in 2020. And it's crazy how something like this has caught on so fast. And I'm just worried about everyone that was in quarantine and didn't have anything to do, or maybe they hit their friend's vape and now they have one. um, I want to help you guys get through this. Now, I'm not trying to be an ambassador for you having to quit everything you're doing and all that. That's completely up to you and God. But what I do know is that if this thing is in my possession, there's a good chance it's going to be in my hand. I also know that if it's in my hand, I'm not able to keep track of how much I'm hitting this thing. And that in general is a very big problem. And I'm trying to figure out ways to cope with it. So relating back to the first action impact of taking a step back And, really looking at the perspective on this is my biggest problem is this thing being in my possession, right? But what happens is if I throw it into the lake, then I may just be missing out on the vape and I can't get it off of my mind. Versus if I take the vape and I put it in a box, now I know where the vape is. So that means that it's here and it's an option, but it's a deliberate option now. I have to take time, open the box up, hit the vape, put the vape back in the box, and put it away. And I'm just excited for that change. And I don't know if that's going to help you at all. You may have shut your ears off to this like whole video thing about 7 minutes ago, and somebody made it to the end, and that's going to help them out. But live, laugh, love. That has been our action impact for the day. Love y'all. Inflict change and get excited.